When it comes to querying data, you need to know about a programming model called LINQ. LINQ stands for Language Integrated Query, and it's a programming model introduced by Microsoft that bridges the gap between the world of objects and the world of data. With LINQ, you can query any data stores as long as they have a link provider. You can query a list of objects in the memory. For example, imagine you have a list of customers. You can query them and find all gold customers who registered after a given date. You can sort them by any properties and find the first customer and various operations like that. But with LINQ, you can also query other data stores. You can query XML. You can query relational databases like SQL Server databases, or NoSQL databases like Mongo. And the interesting thing here is that no matter what the underlying data source is, you will use the exact same programming model to query it. This makes our job a lot easier, because traditionally we had to write T-SQL queries to query SQL Server databases, or PL/SQL queries to query Oracle databases. And if you wanted to query an XML store, we had to use XQuery, which is very different from T-SQL or PL/SQL. Now with LINQ, we use the exact same model to query any data stores. At runtime, depending on what the target data store is, our queries will be automatically translated into a different language that is supported by that data store. And that's the beauty of LINQ. So with LINQ and Entity Framework, we don't have to write SQL queries or store procedures in most cases. We can get or save the data using pure C# code. And this can lead to increased productivity because we don't have to switch between C# and a different querying language in a different environment. Having said that, I'm not saying SQL queries and store procedures are dead. They definitely do have a place. LINQ works in most cases where your queries are reasonably simple. As your queries become more complex, LINQ starts to freak out. In such cases, the SQL queries that are generated at runtime become significantly bulky and slow. So if you're working with a large database and you need to execute a complex query, it's better to write a store procedure as opposed to using LINQ. In fact, let me set something clear here. Everything in the world has its own place. SQL is great, so is LINQ. I've seen some developers being dogmatic about LINQ and try to use it in every single case. But when you use LINQ for complex queries, as I explained earlier, you're essentially misusing it. LINQ is not designed for complex queries. Remember, software engineering is not black and white. There are always trade-offs, and you need to constantly weigh different options. So this was a brief introduction about LINQ, what it is, what it can do, and when to use it. In the next lecture, I'm going to show you LINQ in action.